The revolution will not be televised, at least not outside Quebec. Students in La Belle Province are on the march and have blocked roads and bridges. But outside Quebec, you'd have no idea there's a massive uprising in its 7th week. Quebec students are striking over proposed tuition increases of 75% over 5 years. The one thing that does seem to make the news, however, is that even with this increase, Quebec students would still pay the lowest tuitions in Canada. The subtext, of course, is that there's no reason to protest. But these students aren't just holding the line on tuitions, they're fighting austerity on behalf of the whole nation. In Canada, undergrad tuition averages well over $5,000 a year. So education is fading from memory as a public good and returning to the private privilege it was historically. To any thinking person, this is an obscenity. For the projected cost of 65 useless stealth jets, every student in Canada could have free tuition for a decade. Better yet, by returning corporate taxes to their 2004 levels, every student in Canada could get free post-secondary education until the end of time. But like delaying retirement and busting unions, tuition hikes are a pillar of the austerity agenda. And the Quebec government needs to screw their scholars to placate the bond rating agencies. There have been successful student strikes in Quebec. In 2005, Premier Charest backed down from raising tuitions. But this time, he's refusing to even meet with student leaders. Instead, Charest has encouraged Quebec police in their use of batons, tear gas, stun grenades, and mass arrests against students. But like their counterparts in the Arab Spring, Quebec students are using social media to stage daily actions and to gain the solidarity of Quebecers. The students' message has resonated with the people who fear that education, the primary vehicle of class mobility, will speed out of reach. On March 22nd, over 200,000 students marched in downtown Montreal. But on any given day, the news outside Quebec barely registers the magnitude of this movement. The corporate media actually reminds me of Egyptian state television broadcasting pictures of a deserted Tahrir Square right up until Mubarak left the building. In an effort to stop the unrest, the Quebec government offered more student loans. But students don't need a calculator to know this only guarantees graduating deeper in the hole. So Education Minister Lynn Beauchamp is threatening to hold everybody back a year. But who's in a hurry to graduate into the unemployment line? Beauchamp's ad nauseum talking point is that the government, not the protest leaders, are the people's real voice. But any third grader will tell you that the only voices clamoring for tuition hikes are corporate interests trawling for tax cuts. Someone once told me, never let schooling get in the way of a good education. Well, it looks to me like the students in Quebec are taking the government to school. And today's lesson is the ABCs of austerity. And B is for blowback. So wear a scarlet square in solidarity with the students of Quebec. They're fighting for you. In Toronto, for Rabble TV, I'm Humberto da Silva, not Rex Murphy.